All right. Oh, whoop, there we go. All
Hi.
right. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good, good. How you doing?
Doing great. Doing great. Been a
Good.
while, man.
Yeah, it's been a while since was it last year?
Yeah, I feel like I saw you at my theater for Fringe at one point. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and then I
yeah,
feel like I've just been following your exploits online.
yeah. It's been a wild year.
Yeah, tell me
So
all
far.
about it. I got a cup of coffee. Let's go. So I want to hear about all
um,
the awesome things.
yeah, no, it's oh my gosh, it's November already.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember the year, to be honest. Like, I obviously I got the book deal, and then as soon as that was like officiated, we went straight into edits, um, from like February to July,
Mm-hmm.
and and then from July I went straight into like copy edits, and then trying to get the play off the ground and trying to work around the book and survive in LA at the same
Yeah,
time.
right.
So and then it's November, so that's why I'm looking. I'm like, oh wow, the year is over.
Yeah, for real though. Like this year was gone, like here and gone in a blink. It feels like, I
Yeah,
felt like that. 2020 felt like it was 20 years, and now like time is springing back and making up for the lag here. So
yeah,
it's insanity.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, that man, it is good to see you, and I'm so happy for everything you got going on. I mean,
Yeah,
I've been following you on. I mean, we met. I want to say we met because of Twan. You know.
yeah, because
Because Twan was in Theater Unleashed, and then at one point
yeah,
I think you came and saw him in something there, and
yeah. I
then
think
we
I
met
saw him
because
in
of
the what was it? Not 3 Nights. Oh my gosh,
of Mice and Men.
I'm nice and then I was like, it's something
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah, I saw that, and then because you guys were in North Hollywood at the time,
yes,
and
indeed.
so I saw it, and then I came because I didn't know there was like a lot of theater going around in North Hollywood at that time. I didn't know theater was happening in North Hollywood, so
Oh my God,
uh,
yeah. No, and it was
yeah,
it was a spectacular scene before the pandemic. It went from like what 25, 26 theaters to 7 now
mhm.
after everything. It's been such a
Oh,
tragic drop, but I mean, theater's been dying for over 3,000 years. We will persevere, and
exactly.
there's already people moving, making moves and stuff to bring things back and get things going. So
That is
hope,
very true. Very
yeah,
true.
yep. But let's see. So yeah, so we met because of Twan. We met, and then I've just been like following you
Mhm.
on Facebook and Twitter. Well,
Oh yeah.
Twitter now. I'm off Twitter now, but following you on the Instas and everything, and I have just like blown away by like by everything you've got going on, dude. Like
Mhm.
you got let's see. Well, before we get into everything else, let's first like establish who you are, because I know a little bit about you, but
Mhm.
not much. But I also know that anybody watching this or stumbling across this later isn't going to know you, like, have any familiarity at all. So,
Yeah.
LaDarrion, where are you from originally, man?
I am from, well, I like to say Birmingham because that's where everybody's like, okay, yeah, I know about Birmingham. I've heard
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But I'm actually from a very small town, like kind of like 20 minutes outside of Birmingham,
Yep.
called Helena. And
Okay.
so, yeah, I grew up there
Mm-hmm.
pretty much all my life. you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, I, it's kind of like a conglomerate of like town, like little small towns. I kind of liken it to LA. Like, people say Burbank, people say Studio City, North
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood. It's kind of like that, but then downtown LA, it's kind of like its own little world. So it's kind of like that. So I'm from this very small town called Helena, and yeah,
Okay.
I
Yeah,
grew up
no,
there.
I feel you though, because talking about, like, I say I grew up in DC. I did not grow up in Washington DC. I grew up in Centerville, Virginia, about 30 minutes outside. So but
Yeah.
if you say you're from DC, you look at the
Mhm.
person and go Southern Maryland, Northern Virginia, and then
Yep.
they'll kind of laugh and be like, oh yeah, no, not quite DC. So
Yeah, that's his own little thing
yep.
I hear too, like the DMV. If
The
from
DMV.
certain parts of it, so I hear
Yep.
that. I have a few friends that are from the DMV. So
Yeah, so you know what's up. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but no, I feel that. I feel that. It's like it's easier for me to tell you the nearest big landmark.
Hmm.
100%,
Hmm.
100%. So, what brought
Yeah.
you out? What brought you out to LA?
Oh gosh. So yeah, I mean, obviously the dream. The
Mm-hmm.
filmmaking, the television writing. At one point I was an actor. I was acting like just heavily. Um. So yeah, I moved out here from after dropping out of college, because there
Mhm.
really wasn't opportunities. Because I was a theater major, I went to a small college in Tennessee, and just
Mhm.
realizing there wasn't really many opportunities.
Yep.
I went back
As
home.
someone with a theater degree, I can confirm.
Exactly. So I went back home, and I I was just depressed and
Mhm.
just not. I knew that I wanted to be something in the theater and something in the film industry, but being from Alabama, you realize that, and this was like 2015. I'm not saying it's like, oh my God, like 30, 40, 50 years ago, but like during that time, there really wasn't that many resources
Mhm.
as far as like learning about the business, getting your hands on like scripts, like how you are out here, right? You could go
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
WGA library and read every single TV show script there was.
Mhm.
So after I was like randomly Googling. So one of my favorite shows at the time was True Blood. And
Mhm.
I found the actual script, the pilot script on Google, and I downloaded it. And so from there, I was like, I want to write TV. This is what I want to do. So I kind of like wrote my own TV show, and I
Mhm.
kind of copied it at like to the pilot script. And so
Dope.
that's when I realized I wanted to write television. And so hearing the advice, they were like, to be a television writer, you have to live in LA, right? So
Yeah.
um, I took that advice personally, and I was working at Taco Bell at the time. Oh, and I
Yeah.
was just so tired and so depressed. And so I just randomly bought a plane ticket. In
Yeah.
the drive while working in the drive-through, I just randomly bought a plane ticket and
Fuck yeah,
told my
dude.
friends and family that, hey, I'm moving to LA in May. And at that time, it was like, I think it was like December. I think it was
Okay.
around, yeah, it was like around December. So May 9th, 2015, I moved to
Hell
LA.
yeah.
Never been out of the South, never been on a plane, never been to LA before. And yeah, came out here with 3 bags and suitcases and a dream. So
That's how we do it. That's how we do it. I did the same thing 20 years ago. I graduated college. I was doing summer stock, and I was like, I did a semester out here in LA when I was in college, and I was like, damn it, I want to go back. I want to go back. So I bought a plane ticket, showed up with 3 bags, and figured it out from there. I stayed at a hostel
yeah,
for a couple of weeks, got an apartment, got the car, got the job. You gotta make
yeah,
sure you got your hierarchy of needs taken care of and all that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah. What was
yeah.
Oh, I'll go on. I'm sorry, go on.
No, I was saying, no, you're definitely right. I definitely applied to jobs like, I started applying to jobs like around February of
Mm-hmm.
2015. And
Yep.
my first job was Universal Studios Hollywood,
Okay.
the theme park. So I
Yeah,
definitely had
yeah.
to have everything in order before I moved out here, because I was not trying to move out here with nothing.
I
So
feel you. Yeah, no, I made that mistake, and let me tell you, that was a hairy 2 weeks. I had a little bit of money in the bank that I was like, okay, this is how long I got to get my shit together, and it
and
was
then
like
goes down.
that kind of need, that dire the dire situation can sometimes be a hell of a motivator if it doesn't just become a stumbling block right out the gate. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
What
Yeah.
what was like the biggest bit of culture shock you experienced coming from the South and never having been out here before to being here?
Uh, how fast like the city life was, like, because I moved to Hollywood.
Oh shit.
So I
Okay, so you just
lived
went
in,
right in there. All right.
yeah, I lived on at my first apartment with a roommate. It was like literally, it's crazy now because now that I drive down there. So when I moved out here, they were building, like the Netflix building that's on Sunset and
Mm-hmm.
whatever those cross streets was. It's like the main Sunset.
Oh
And
yeah, I was out picketing there for 3 months. Yeah.
yeah. So when I moved out here, they literally was like laying the ground, like groundwork. And so it's so cool to kind of like,
Yeah.
at the time I didn't realize that was going to be a Netflix building.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like losing like the starry-eyed, like glamorous, seeing that Hollywood is like not so glamorous as you thought.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm talking about like the actual city, like,
Oh yeah,
like
no, Hollywood in particular, if you go outside of like a square block and a half, it's a different
it's
experience
it's a
entirely.
lot. It's a
It's very
lot.
selective camera angles, but that's the nature of the business in itself. I feel like it's indicative of everything about. It's symbolic of everything Hollywood is. So.
Exactly, because
Mhm.
I started to realize that everything was so fast, and I've never ridden a city bus before. I've never been on a subway train before.
Mhm. Damn.
Just learning. This Southern kid, this kid from the
Yeah, yeah.
deep South, having to learn how to ride the city bus.
Yeah, and
So,
and and having grown up in Southern Virginia, I know that it's a slower pace of life out there, man. You got to do about 30 minutes of catching up with somebody before you could do 5 seconds of business. I mean, that is
exactly.
just that
That's
you got
how
to
it
hear
is.
about. Got to hear about the wife. Got to hear about the kids. Got to hear about the dog. Got to hear about the dog's kids. You know, it's just like you got to do the catching up, and you got to know everybody's business as well as everybody else does. You know,
It's
so
exactly how it is. And out
nobody
here,
gives a fuck out here. It's
they
amazing.
don't. They don't. So that's those were kind of like a lot of things that I was very culture shocked at the time. But I quickly adjusted. I do find that about myself. I quickly adjust to things. And so, I was like, okay, I got to learn how to, because at the time, like I worked at Universal, I was like, well, how do I get there? Because I was living literally in that bubble. So I didn't know anything outside. I didn't even know North Hollywood was a thing.
Yeah.
While I was like my first year here, which is crazy because now I live all over North Hollywood. I'm like, oh yeah, I know where that is. I know that shit. And so I had to bust that bubble really quick, and learn. So yeah, 9 years. It's about to be 8 years. It's about to be 8.
Oh, congrats,
years.
man. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm still here, still
going strong and thriving. Thriving, if I do say so myself, having just like observed here. I feel like first off, like let's talk about Boulevard of Bold Dreams, because first off, I saw Umoja, which was last January, last February.
Oh gosh.
God, almost 2 years ago now.
It's almost 2 years.
Holy shit. This is just,
It's going by.
Yeah, it's just gone. Yeah, that was down at the former Inglewood Playhouse, Willie Aggie Playhouse. That was I still have some lights I want to get down there to them. Problem is they're all incandescent. I know their wiring isn't that great, but I still want to get them hooked up somehow, because as a lighting designer, I was like, y'all need support, but I also understand power restrictions. Man, it sucks.
It's a small space and it's a beautiful space.
It is. It deserves more than it has, and I want to I got to figure something out. So I'm gonna keep digging on that, see if I can find some deals or something, see if I can get them hooked up, because I feel like they need some good low power lighting in there, and there are solutions. They're just expensive these days. That's the tough thing. The technology is still pretty, but saw Umoja, loved the work. And we got talking, and I heard you were telling me about Boulevard of Bold Dreams, and I was just like, oh, this is perfect, because it's a Black story, it's a historical story, it is a Hollywood story, it is an intersectional story that can bring in so many different audiences and so many different interests, and so you get buy-in from so many different groups learning about this, and I think that it's an important part of Hollywood history to be talking about this. And I was like, dude, I want to take the show. I want to produce it. I want to put it up at Fringe. It's going to be the biggest thing you've ever had. It's going to be fantastic. I'm like, I want to fucking go. And then, we got talking, and then you're like, oh yeah, no, sorry. Fucking Timeline in Chicago is going to do it. And it was like mid-size and up from there on out. And I'm just like, okay, fair play. Like that. Yeah. If you're not going to give me a show, at least it's because somebody much bigger and much better is doing it. So bravo, man. Like, hell yeah.
Yeah, that whole experience is it's still happening. I mean, shout out to my best friend, my confidant, I call her my Viola Davis, my friend Mildred Marie Langford, who was in the world premiere production. She played one of the characters, Dottie. While we were at a rehearsal for Umoja, we were just talking about trying to get the play off the ground and try to get it out. At first, we were really trying to get it out here. We were really trying to produce it here, but but she's a company member at Timeline Theater in Chicago, and obviously it's Chicago, right? Like, Chicago's a beautiful. I love Chicago.
It's a hell of a theater city.
It's a theater city, and she, after, because we did several readings of it during like the pandemic, like on Zoom, for my playwright.
I saw you did one through Echo, and I saw you did one with Morgan Wixon, Santa Monica Guild.
Yeah. So we did one through Echo, and
good people over there.
Good people.
Alana Dietz is awesome. She's a
I was in their playwriting class, and so we realized that this play was very special. And then it went from there. It went to Morgan Wixon, and that's when theater literally just opened back up. Like, this was like 2021, like fall.
Yeah.
Like, so you had to like show your vaccine card. You had to be
Keep your mask
masked.
on, yeah,
You
the whole
had
thing.
to, it was so strict. And we did it there. We did it for 2 nights. So we did like a staged reading. So I finally got to see it put up. And my director at that time, Ignacio, he put out like a bar, like a little bar area and like a piano, and they had projections. It was like one step down from like an actual production. Which was great for me as a playwright because I got to see it on its feet. I got to make my changes. I got to cut. I got to add. And
it's so critical.
Yeah. So from there, my friend Millie, she said, "Can I send it to Timeline because this is perfect?" Timeline's kind of like their motto is like producing historical plays, but making sure that it still has like present themes like that can be talked about today. And so obviously, this was before the strike, but like this was like after Oscar So White, after just the whole like assistants not making that much money in Hollywood, and like literally this is before the strike. So we went back and forth with Timeline. They loved the play, and we were trying to figure out when they wanted to do the play. And that's when Morgan Wixon came back and said, "Hey, we want to actually do a world premiere of it." And I was like, okay. Because at that point I was like, well, let me talk, because I didn't know like as a playwright at that time, I didn't know like world premiere meant this and you could do this and all that. So again, I was learning as a playwright. And so I said, well, let me get back to you because there's a theater in Chicago that wants to do it. And I remember
and then you got me sniffing around too.
Yeah, you wanted to do it. I was like, oh my God. And then like while Timeline was debating on like whether to do it or not, Greater Boston Stage came in Boston. They wanted to, Stone, Boston or Massachusetts, they wanted to do it, and they wanted the world premiere. And I was like, oh gosh, I have like several people wanting the world premiere. And Timeline, I talked to the artistic director PJ Powers. Shout out to him for giving me a chance. And he laid down like what they wanted to do. They were willing to have my friend Millie be a part of it. They were willing to fly me out and give me like dramaturgical support. They were willing to really give it a world premiere. And so I went back to everybody, all y'all saying like, oh, Timeline is going to do it.
I was like, I remember being like, oh, God damn it. Because I'm really passionate about this script, dude. I think it's an outstanding script, and I'm thrilled by it, and more importantly though, I'm just thrilled with the fact that you had Timeline do it, and then Greater Boston still got it.
They still came in. They got the East Coast
premiere, and now Orlando Shakes did it.
Orlando Shakes did it, and
they just did it like back in October.
So they closed November. They closed October 31st. So they closed October 30th and 31st.
So that's 3 productions.
3 in 1 year.
In 1 year, which holy shit. And you were just like, this script's just getting passed around and people are like, hell yeah, I want a piece of this. And you had it up on NPX, you had it up on the New Play Exchange, and then you had like, so how did Orlando and Greater Boston get their hands on it? Because I see where Timeline got it, but how did
after Timeline, Greater Boston Stage wanted it because they found it on MPX. So MPX do work.
Okay.
And so and they wanted to like, okay, we're gonna do it for the next year. And so I thought, okay, cool. And so Orlando, I was a part of their New Works Festival. So every year they do a kind of like a play fest.
Okay.
And so they fly playwrights down and put them up in a hotel, and they cast actors, and they have a director direct a stage reading of the play. So I thought that was befitting before we go to Chicago, we could actually develop it one more time before we put it up on its feet. And so through some inner workings and luck, my friend Millie, who was going to be in the world premiere anyway, got to come down with me. She got to fly down there with me and be a part of it. And my director that was in Chicago, they just saw it made sense for her to direct it because she's going to be directing it for the world premiere anyway, Malkia. And so we all flew down there to Orlando to be a part of their play fest. And they cast locally the other 2 actors, the Hattie McDaniel character and the Arthur character. And so I got to go down there, work with another dramaturg. I got to work with Malkia for the first time, my director, and and Millie already knew the script. And so I got to make a whole bunch of changes there before we went to Chicago. And usually out of that play fest, Orlando will want to produce a play. So they choose like I think they choose six to eight plays for their entire play festival.
It's a great way to find new stuff.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I'm
my
so
God,
happy they're still doing it and they're
Yeah.
able to do it, because a lot of theaters are not doing it. They're not doing a lot of new play festivals right now. So
Yeah.
and so from there, you know, it did really, really well, and people loved it. And so I think I was in Boston, yeah, because I had just got home from Chicago and I flew to Boston to see the production there. They expressed interest in bringing it for fall 2023. And so they saw that Chicago was going to do it, and then they saw Boston was doing it, and then they were like, well, we want to be a part of the kind of like the
rolling world premiere kind of. Yeah.
And so they offered to do it for October 2023. So that was my third main production.
And then you got two more productions lined up for next year already. You got Cincy Shakes, and you got
I got two. I got Alley Rep in Boise, Idaho. Boise, Idaho. And so, and hopefully, you know, the way social media works, hopefully we're coming to LA. We had a meeting with I don't even know if I can't say it, but we had a meeting with a special theater.
I think I know where this is going.
Yeah, we had a meeting with a special theater.
Don't go spoiling that, but I think it's they aren't them. Are we talking? Is it one of the big ones or is it one of the middle ones? One of the big ones? Yeah. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Because social media is crazy. When I posted the Chicago highlight video. So you know, hopefully LA, and I just got done. Well, we're still in the midst of campaigning the play to go to Broadway. So I just got back from New York, you know, 2 weeks. Has it been a week or 2 weeks? One of them.
God, man. You were just blowing up. That is, dude, I'm so fucking thrilled for you because I have seen your work. You have worked it, and you've been putting the stuff out there constantly. You do excellent work. You do the follow-up. You've been out there beating the streets and making the connections, and you've been playing the game right, you know, and you've been playing it hard, and it is paying out for you in a big way. I'm thrilled. I'm honest to God thrilled. It is something awesome for you to see you doing this. And you know, and I will say you're gonna get that big, you know, you might get that big production here in LA, you might get Broadway. My offer to produce it at Theater Unleashed at the Hollywood Fringe Festival still stands, sir. It still stands. Okay. I mean, I know that there's competitive bidding going on here, you know, but I will take it to the Fringe for you. I will at one point. So you know,
shout out to the Hollywood Fringe. You know, they're still going strong. So
absolutely, they're bouncing back real hard. We're already gearing up for next year right now, getting everything ready for the next festival. It's gonna be very, very interesting, very different next year. We've got some big news that'll be hitting in January, I think, about how the makeup is going to be changing within Hollywood. But that's a whole other thing going on. There's been a lot. Yeah, but let me see. You got any publishers looking at it? Like, I mean, have you got like Concord looking at it? You got Commodus?
So when I went to New York to produce the stage reading out there, we had some executives from Hollywood come. We had some theaters come, like artistic directors come, and then we also had a couple of publishers come in. Right now we have a couple. I think we have Concord looking at it, and then we also have Theatrical Rights Worldwide looking at it.
Okay.
Yeah. So they came and they loved it. I met the I guess you call the owners or the president of it. Yeah. So they love the play. But you know, we're still, me and my team, we still want to make sure that the play has a long life as far as like getting like, you know, in the major markets. So we're definitely trying to get it to LA, and we're definitely trying to get it to New York.
Absolutely.
So you know, we're working that out literally right now. So I probably should get an email tomorrow because now that everybody's back from the holiday. So yeah, we're literally working that out now. So we have a few publishers interested.
Good. Well, you know, I've got a play published with Concord, and they you know, I've on occasion I've dropped emails over to them going like, hey, if you're not already looking at this, you know, I put a good word in before, so I'll definitely be dropping my reps on line over there, just saying that I think really highly of the script. I think never hurts to have, you know, vote of confidence and support, you know, and get people talking.
Obviously, it works.
Yeah, it does. So I mean, yeah, I hope they grab onto it and run with it, because I really like this script, and based on the reviews that I was reading from everywhere else, and the amount of people interested in putting this show up, and in fact, I mean, you've got 5 productions in 5 major theaters in 2 years. Like that's
Wow.
that's playwright's dream of
Exactly.
stuff like that. So you got big things happening here, man, and that is fucking amazing, and I couldn't be happier for you. So
appreciate that,
yeah. So again, one day it will have a Theater Unleashed premiere, and I'm super excited for that. But in the meantime, what other, before we get onto your because you're not just hustling in one direction. Before we get onto your novel, your debut novel, let's what other plays you working on right now? You still working on Emojo? You got some other stuff going on? Like what's next in the pipeline?
Playwriting wise, I'm still making like changes to Umoja, just because like most people think like, oh, okay, you're playwright, they put on a play and it's done. No, that's not. No. Unfortunately, that's not the case.
Yeah, no. With the hustle continues, and my God, the rewrites continue. I was doing rewrites on Friends Like These and Super Sidekick up until my publisher was like, "You have to stop making changes.
You have to stop." Yeah,
like we're going to print tomorrow. Like it's done. It's done.
Yeah. No, it's definitely the play. Always, the play is alive. It's always living. I mean, obviously, I've been a part of a few playwriting residencies this year, which is that's why I'm kind of exhausted, because now everything is starting to blow up. Like now everything people want me to bring me out and develop a play. So I kind of had to put playwriting on the back burner for the rest of the year, because I just have to focus on my book, and I had to focus on getting Boulevard to the place that it needs. But as far as writing a new play, I did promise myself I'll write a new play before the year's out. So I do have like a month and some change to write a new play.
That. You could get a draft done.
In like I could crank out a draft in like a few days. But I am working on there is a new play that I really want to come out, that I want to write. Because I'm such a fantasy guy, so I've never written like a fantasy play. Okay. Or like a play with magic. So I am working on a play which is funny, talking about the book, it's based in like 70 years before the first part of my debut novel. Different characters, but it's still set in the same world. So it's like
a prequel almost. So it's like the Silmarillion.
Like a prequel. Yeah,
I gotcha.
It's in the same universe. So I got like 60 pages in, so I think I should wrap it up by the end of the year. So that's kind of like the newest thing that I've been writing. But again, I had to kind of put it on the back burner. It's just because I have deadlines now. I'm actually.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're doing rewrites and everything that are due tomorrow right now, right?
Yeah. So first day tomorrow. Yeah. So
God damn, and they don't fuck around. Like they want that shit on time,
Yeah, publishers don't. Yeah, because it's such a big schedule. That it's not just your editor, it's not just your agent or the copy editors. It's like a whole team, because they have a certain schedule that they have to follow. So I have a deadline tomorrow. Like I said, playwriting is kind of on the back burner for right now. But if I can crank out another draft of a play by December 31st, that'll be great.
Hell yeah. Well, let me tell you, we're doing, I still have been hosting quarterly writing retreats. So, we go up to the mountains. We just get the hell out of Dodge for a couple of days. We'll go like Thursday to Sunday. Just write and eat and write and sleep and write, and that's kind of just like how it is. So I'll let you know when we got the first one scheduled for next year, and love to have you on board for that. So
hopefully it's January, because I have to turn in book 2 January 30th. So.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, speaking of which, and this is a great transition here, but speaking of which, let's go on ahead and talk about Blood at the Root. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not unexpected for me to see somebody having multiple irons in the fire, because in Hollywood, we all got bonfires going. Like if you're trying to do anything, you're trying to do everything. Like that's kind of how we roll out here. But I think I've never seen somebody have like such a groundswell of organic support behind their work, and earned, I might add. I mean, this isn't just like, like people being your friends and being like, hey, this is good. No, you've like had like a huge groundswell of support behind your stuff. it started as a short film, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And then okay, so I'm sorry, but it
no.
started as short, and then
Yeah.
tell me about how like it all came about.
Okay, so Blood at the Root kind of been a part of my mind since, well, I want to say forever, to be quite honest with you. But initially it's been a part of me since 2020. This was like a month before everything was shutting down. I kind of had like an idea of like like kind of like a magical TV show. Because
like, what if Harry Potter went to a historical
so I tweeted that, like, so I just had an idea, like I tweeted that, on Twitter, like during the lockdown. Like, this is when lockdown literally just happened and everybody was on social media talking shit, so I
just
tweeted,
doom scrolling all the time.
That's all we were doing, right? So I tweeted, like, I said, like, just randomly, like, what if Harry Potter, I said, y'all, what if Harry Potter went to like an HBCU, like in the South? Like, what would that look like? And I didn't think nothing of it. Like, I really didn't. And that tweet literally blew up. And it blew up, and people were like messaging me like, "Oh my god, like, we would love to see something like that. That's something that I've been wanting to see." And you have a lot of Harry Potter fans, and I mean, to be honest, I still like watch the movies. I still love them. We grew up on them.
We can appreciate the materials while separating it from problematic music. 100%. Yeah.
Wow. So from there, like, people was like, "Oh my gosh, you gotta make that." And one of the comments, she asked me, she's like, "Hey, what's your Cash App?" And I was like, at that time, things had shut down, jobs were lost. I said, "Oh, here you go." Like, I posted my Cash App, and she shared it, she donated. And so that's when I kind of got an idea. I was like, "Oh, like, people really y'all really want to see this?" And everybody's like, yeah, we want to see it. Well, you got to pay for it, because short films are not
short films don't happen for free.
Yeah. And so during that time, during like this uproar, I was writing like a pilot script of Blood at the Root. So I technically wrote it as a TV show first.
Okay.
And so from the pilot script, I was planning on doing like a short film version of it. And so I literally, like, people were donating from Canada. I had people from UK. I mean, people from everywhere, all over the country, were like just donating, like, like $5.
They're voting with their dollars. They're voting with their dollars that this is the kind of content that they want to see.
Yeah. So I had one person donate like $1,000. I was like, what? Like, and so so from there I was like, okay, so we got to make a short film because people actually pay for it. So during that, we were definitely safe. Nobody got caught COVID at that time. So I gathered a bunch of my friends who are actors, and I hired a cinematographer and an editor at the time off of Twitter. And we shot it all over Inglewood. We shot all over LA, trying to cheat it to make it look like the South.
Just ignore the palm trees in the back.
Just ignore the palm trees, guys. We're working on a limited budget. It's okay. And so we shot it in like the first day. We shot at like a gas station. This dude, like, we talked to the gas station owner, and we was like, "Look, we gotta shoot this scene in your parking lot. Is it cool? I promise. We could buy gas. Like, we could buy like something just to." He was like, "Dude, it's okay. I don't care." So we shot it, and that's when I realized, I was like, "Oh, we have something special here. Like, this is something very, very special. This is something that something reignited in me, because I grew up when I was in high school. Harry Potter was just ending. Like, it was kind of like it was during that era where you had to go to the movie theaters like at 12 o'clock to go see the the part one of like the last movie.
It was
that era, and we had Twilight, we had Hunger Games, and
where every book was being adapted into 3-part movies and shit. They did that to The Hobbit, and I think that's a war crime. I mean, that book's like 150 pages. Like, what are they doing that for?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, and so during that time, I remember, like, just thinking back while I was writing Blood at the Root, the TV show, that even though I loved those stories, I loved them, I always felt like there was a disconnect for me. Because I didn't see nobody look like me in those stories, and if they were there, they were kind of like to the side, the sidelines, or they were in the background, or they just died, pretty much like the first person to die. And so mixing all of that and getting the online support and like this need to kind of like create a story that I would have loved while I was 17. That's how Blood at the Root TV show came to be, and I wrote the first draft of the pilot. I think it was June 2020. 2020. I think I wrote it in like 6 days.
Damn. All right.
Yeah, I wrote it like 5 or 6 days. And so, yeah, I had a 60-page pilot that I didn't know, and things were shut down. So, Hollywood was not buying pilots. I'm thinking like, I got the online support. I got everybody like the supporting. And so obviously that's when really things got really serious. And I had this pilot script for a year, and then when things started to look up, I wanted to staff on a TV show with this pilot script, and that's when I got the reality that I don't know if this is going to happen because with social media things are fleeting. Things died down, and I was posting about it for a year. Like I completely fell in love with this story. I fell in love with the characters, and I realized that when things started kind of happening with Hollywood, things were kind of picking back up. People were getting staffed left and right. I was seeing like Twitter friends and writer friends getting staffed, getting their dreams coming true. And I had the script, and I was having literally studios and networks executives telling me, "Oh, this is something we've been looking for. We would love to do this." And then, obviously go ghost and not hear anything.
Yeah.
But from that script, I ended up getting my first manager. We worked together on it, and we got it out, and people were reading it and loving it, but just nothing really happened of it. And so this is all of 2020, and then like February 2021, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like this whole Hollywood thing, I'm trying to break in with this script. Obviously it's not happening. And so me and my first manager at the time parted ways, and I was just really heartbroken and really depressed about it because I thought I made a short film, and I had the script, and I had everything that I thought I needed, the tools to get like a writing assistant job on a TV show that has fantasy elements. Couldn't get that. And so my friends were like, "Dude, like maybe you should turn it into a novel." And I was like, "Oh no," because I tried to write a novel before. It died in the career. I need to stop saying that. It didn't die. It just wasn't the right time. But it didn't make it past the query trenches because I had a book series before, and I was trying to get it published, and it wasn't working.
Sure.
And so, I have a few friends. They was like, "No, I think you should I think this will be a great series," because they said, "We see it as a TV show, but we also see it as a book series." I was like, okay. So not having any representation, not having any, and just feeling very down, I wrote the first draft of the book of Blood at the Root in March. So I locked myself in my apartment, and this was March 2021. I locked myself in my apartment for 12 days straight. And I wrote the first draft of what we see as Blood at the Root, and I was like, "Oh shit! I have a book. Like I have a whole book. I wrote like 300 something pages. I think it was like at the time it was like 350. I wrote it in 12 days, and so I was like, well, okay. I was like, well, I'll self-publish it because I don't think publishing wants a book like that, because at that time too as well, I would go to Barnes and Noble and go to the YA fantasy section, and I would go up and down because I was like, okay, I need to get back into reading. And I would literally go up and down, up and down. I was like, where are the black boys at? Like, where are the black boys in YA fantasy that are the main heroes that don't die, that don't get killed or have to deal with like
that don't wind up with all the shitty tropes? Yeah.
Like I was like, where are they? Like, okay. So that's when my fire really like started burning bright around the story. And so I got it together. I wanted to do something different this time. They say don't do this. A lot of people say you shouldn't do this. But I saved up. I was doing Uber Eats. I was working it. And so I saved up enough money to hire like a professional editor, because I was like, I'm going to self-publish it.
Yeah.
So I was like, hired a professional editor, which we still talk to this day. And as we were working together, she was like, LaDarrion, I don't think you need to self-publish this. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, I'm going to self-publish it. Publishing is not going to want a story like this. She's like, no. She's like, traditional publishing needs a story like this. I think this can really change some things. And so she was like, I can help you get it really right for an agent. And again, going through the agent process was a lot. And so she convinced me. She was like, she's like, you need an engine. You need the resources, because self-publishing, I was weighing out the pros and cons.
Yeah.
And this is no shade to self-publishing, but self-publishing, it's just a lot. And at that time,
oh my God, no, because you're everything. You are
you're everything. So at that time, spiritually, physically, financially, I was just drained. And so I was okay. I said, okay, we're gonna see. Like, let's see if they want it. And so we spent from March to April getting it right. She worked with me on my query letter, because a query letter you have to send kind of like a cover letter to an agent.
Oh yeah,
like who you are and your book. And so I started getting in the query trenches around late April, early May. So I was like, okay, here we go. And so started sending it to I was sending it to every single agent. Here's the first 10 pages. Here's the first 15, first 50, whatever. And I was getting rejected left and right. And I started seeing a pattern in my rejections as well. They will all say, oh, we love the story. We love this, but we can't connect to the main character. We don't know how to market this. And I was like, see? I was telling my friend, I was like, see? And this was going on for this was all through
so we have found the barrier to entry why you don't see more. Yeah, okay.
Exactly, because they were saying what was not spoken. So
quiet parts out loud all of a sudden.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
what the hell?
This was July. At that point, I was like, I was sending it to hundreds of agents. Like, I'm not even joking, like hundreds of agents. And I was getting rejected left and right. And mid-July, I got my first offer of representation.
Hell yeah.
I was like, oh, and I told my editor, I was like, oh, somebody actually wants to represent the book. And when you get an offer of representation, it's so weird. Like, it's like you're trying to get their attention, you're trying to get the agent's attention. But as soon as you get that offer of representation, you get on the phone with them, the tables literally turn. And they have to convince you to sign with them.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of cool. And so when you get an offer of representation from one agent, you have to let all the querying agents that you've queried, you have to let them know, like, hey, I got an offer of representation. Basically, can you hurry the hell up? Like, either give me a yes or a no.
Yeah.
And then from there, I got requests. We would like to read the whole book. We would like to read this.
Okay. Suddenly, it's like a piranha. It's a feeding frenzy. Yeah.
Yeah, because now they see, because somebody took that first step.
If they want, I only want it if they want it.
Yeah, it's literally.
God,
it's Hollywood operates like that. Theater operates.
It's such.
I know. It's just
because everybody is so risk averse, but everybody's also desperate for the next big thing, and they all want to be first in the door, but they don't want to be back in the wrong horse, And it's just,
exactly.
Everybody will slip in at the last second and act like they've been there from day one.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's such horse shit. But once you realize that that's the game, you can at least prepare yourself for it.
And in that, I started preparing myself, and so after talking to that first agent, and then I ended up getting another offer. They was like, we would love to represent it, and then you get on the phone with them, and they tell you. And also during all of this, you have to do your research as a writer, because essentially your agent is your business partner.
Yeah,
you want to see if they made sales, you want to see how many clients they have, you want to talk to their clients. And so after getting my second offer of representation, I was really researching, and I was asking other clients, and I was like, okay, because the second one was my current agent, and so I talked to him, and then I have to let other querying agents know, like, hey, I got 2 offers, like, I have to, and you have to let them, you have 14 days to let anybody who agrees to meet with you, you have to let them know in 14 days.
Yeah.
So other agents kind of they was like, oh, thank you and congratulations on your offer, but we're gonna bow out. And then there was another lady, she didn't offer, but she was like, can you please give me extra time? And I was like, okay, I think industry standard, agents understand, they get it. So I said, okay, you have 21 days. That's the most I can give you. And this was one of my dream agents at the time.
Yeah. So it wasn't just anybody that you're holding out the door for.
No, it was one of the agents I really wanted to work with.
Yeah.
And so after the tour, this was day 19, and so I was like, I gotta make my decision in a couple of days. And then she emailed me back. She was like, hey, LaDarrion, I don't think I'm gonna make the deadline. And so, in balancing between the research between the two agents that offered, I currently signed with Fine and Print Literary, and I signed with Peter Knapp. And this was August 2021. I signed with him, yeah, and he's a beast. My agent Pete, and that's what everybody was saying that I was researching. They was like, "Oh, he's a beast. He sells. He really knows how to get like a lot out of your book. As far as and he's very editorial, and that's what I needed at the time. So we signed together in August 2021, and we went straight into edits of the book September 2021, and we edited the book from September to September of the next year. And and we went on submission to publishers, editors at publishers on September 19th, 2022. Yeah. That's the first part of the journey.
Incredible. Yeah, incredible. I mean, that's a hell of a ride right there. And you're like, you're not even at the publisher point yet. That's just getting somebody on your team to pitch you. Holy shit.
That's the first.
I thought acting was rough.
Oh man, and this is weeks of waiting between each round.
Yeah.
Each
at least when you get an audition and you don't hear back in 2 days, you're like, okay, I didn't get it, you know.
Yeah, and it's a constant argument between writers and actors, like which one is harder. And it's like, they're both hard in their own respect, but
yes, I don't think it's a depression. I don't think it's like a depression competition here. They're both equally depressing.
Yeah, we both
masochistic.
Going through it.
Yeah,
but like, you know, I do tell my actor friends, I was like, well, at least you guys get auditions and like you know right then and there, or you, like you said, if you don't hear back, I would say like a week. If you don't hear back after a week, then you might as well just say, okay, chop it up, go to the next one. With writers, with plays and books and scripts, you have to wait months.
My God, it took 2 years for Sam French to pick up Super Sidekick and then turn around and decide they wanted it. And the funny thing is that they only wanted it. Like, I heard that they wanted it after I'd already gotten a publishing offer from a smaller label.
Exactly.
You know, and then they were like, oh, wait, I'm sorry, what? This is in our stack? Oh, let's put this right to the top. Oh, yeah, we would like that, you know? And it was
2 years.
The worst thing was, after waiting 2 years and getting the first publishing offer, I had to go back and tell the first publisher, I'm sorry, you know, my part, like, Sam French wants it. And they're like, that fucking figures. They do this to us all the time. You know, like that was, you know, and that was, but I got my other play with the smaller label. You know, so you know, and now I'm, you know, I'm getting back into the hustling for my scripts and getting them out places too. But you know, it's
a hustle,
dude. It is a hustle, you know, and just like, and the self-publishing thing. Like, I self-published my own shows before I started, you know, like shopping them to publishers. And yeah, you don't realize like how much work the publisher does on your behalf. I mean, you know, like they're not great at, they're like, once your script's in the catalog, like it's in the catalog and you got to be marketing it yourself. You got to be hustling shit yourself. But the amount of work that they do on your behalf, just getting it up there and getting it into stores and getting it into databases, like Jesus Christ, the amount of work it is insane. And for any one person to have to do all that, I mean, it's possible. There's people making their livings off of it, but it is not a small task, you know.
And I'm learning that now.
Yeah,
I'm literally learning that now.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah, you know, because you think it on the outside, you're like, oh, they don't want it, but you have to think about like what's in their arsenal, especially with agents and editors. Like, they sometimes are inundated, especially the publishing industry. They're inundated with a whole bunch of books, and they have bosses, and you know, bosses.
They got numbers, and it's not like Hollywood in the sense that it's risk averse, and it's like we don't want to spend all the time and energy and money on something if it's not going to move. You know, so everybody's looking for the next Harry Potter. Everybody's looking for the next, Jack Ryan. Everybody's looking for the next guaranteed sell, you know, and it's, you know, and no accounting for taste. And I thought it was very interesting how you said, like, the number of rejections that you got when they're like, I'm sorry, we just don't know how to relate to this character. It's like, you know, and then you wonder why, and then you wonder why you don't see more diversity on the shelves.
Yeah,
and
that's something that was a question that I had with, you know, some of the agents when I was on the phone with them, and eventually like with some editors that offered to buy the book. Like, I had to ask that tough question, like, why is that not, like, why are we not seeing this type of stories? Because you see books that get published, and you're like, oh, okay. And like, now you have to implement TikTok and all this, and people they see And that's what I was telling my agent that one time, because a lot of my TikTok videos about Blood at the Root before we kind of went to publishers were like going viral.
Yeah.
And so he would just collect them. He was like, okay, I'm just going to collect these links, and he would send them to publishers, and he would show them. They'd be like, oh my gosh, he's doing analytic, all the analytics. It's like, oh, he's doing everything that
numbers are crunching. Yeah,
okay,
and it's gonna turn up dollar signs. I mean, that's the whole thing, is that you've got
think, right? Yeah.
I mean, credit where credit's due to Twitter and to TikTok, democratizing books, the book industry, and being like, given an opportunity for new voices, man. Like that's you cannot understand it, you can't overstate how important that is, and how you can get, because I knew that you like I knew you were talented, okay?
Yeah.
And I knew you were talented, like, from the first time I looked at your stuff.
Mhm.
But I knew that shit was going to blow up for you in a big way and in a good way. The first time I saw your tweet about Blood at the Root shared on my Facebook as a meme by some unrelated third party.
Oh,
like,
wow.
That showed up in my feed, and I was like, oh, okay,
That's
shit's
crazy.
going down. Like, that's cool, there's stuff happening here. There's
crazy.
Like serious momentum, and I was like, hell yeah.
It's been a wild ride. Like, just selling the book and then editing it and getting ready for my debut year.
Yeah.
It's just been wild. And people are they're pre-ordering it, they're supporting it.
I got mine on pre-order, and I just put the pre-order link in the chat here. So if anybody, if you guys want, I got an Amazon affiliate link in the chat here. Pre-order it on Amazon. Support LaDarrion, support Black writers, and let's get Blood at the Root back at number one. Keep it at number one on the pre-orders.
Keep it at number one. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's amazing. And the book hasn't come out yet, and in that I'm learning so much about like the book industry, like just the different type of, like, you literally edit the book until like a few months before it's printed, and marketing. I got my marketing plan the other day. It's going to be some really cool things that I have some ideas for, and they also have some ideas for. And also, like working with your editor and building that relationship, and literally seeing your dream come to life. It's wild. It's a wild thing.
So happy for you. So now when the book comes out and it becomes a huge success, you said you're working on number 2 already. How many books are in the series?
So there's 3 books.
So it's going to be a trilogy. Okay.
It's going to be a trilogy. And if it, when it blows up, maybe they want more, maybe actually, can we turn this into 4 or 5? Hey, okay, as long as you pay it.
Right.
But right now, my editor, she bought 3 books. And,
okay.
So it's a trilogy of books. I'm working on book 2. That's a weird thing. You're still working on book 1, like you're making like your small little edits and like fixing like little, continuity issues and sending that off. And then I have to jump on book 2. Because January 30th will be here before I know it. And got to get, while getting book 2 ready, I have to get ready for my debut year. So again, it's going to be another hurdle that I'm going to have to jump over in the next 5 months, because I have to launch my book, my debut. I have to launch it. It
don't stop.
Don't stop at all.
It don't stop. No, that's awesome. All right, so then you got book 2 happening after that, and then book 3. Do you think you want to see it as a TV series, or do you think if somebody comes with a movie offer, you're gonna rather go in that direction? Both. ¿Por qué no dos?
Listen, I could see it as a hybrid. I mean, I'm gonna be real. I don't know what TV is gonna be like in the next, I want to say in the next 3 years. I don't know. True. Just after everything.
Yeah, I'm still reading over the contract right now, and I've got
for both.
I mean, I'm not Writers Guild. I was on the picket for the writers, but I was.
It's I don't know. I don't know what's going to be the state of TV. But right now we are. Again, that's crazy, because once you get a book deal, and then once Hollywood find out that you got a book deal, they're like,
"Oh yeah,
hey."
No, and there's whole agencies. I mean, you're with A3, and I'm sure, and agencies these days are all about the synergies between books, movies, TV, podcasts, social media. Everybody's always trying to figure out how to market and license something. You'll have a Blood at the Root themed escape room before you know it.
Right? So, which will be, and I already have people like, hey, are you going to do a video game? I'm like, I'm trying to come out with my first book first. Yeah,
Do
so
a JRPG style like the old Final Fantasy. That'd be dope as shit. You
yeah,
know,
that'd be
so
dope
yeah.
shit, right? Like, and yeah, so when they heard about the book deal, like agents were like, "Oh, what's up?" Like,
Yeah.
"Hey, we heard."
Sliding into your DMs, being like,
Yeah,
"You
it's
up?"
like I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay."
Mhm.
We sent this. Me and my manager sent this to you 3 years. Okay, hey, okay, I
Yeah,
get
but
it.
you're looking at it now. You're looking
You
at it
looking at it
now.
now, so
Yeah.
yeah, so I would love for it to be a TV show and a movie. I am working on the pitch for the TV show.
Okay.
It's not announced, but we did partner with an amazing team to bring it to television.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, it's so funny to see it start off as a pilot and try in a short film and to try to get it to Hollywood, and now you turn it into a book, and you work on the book for a couple of years, and now you have to work on the TV show version again.
Yeah, it's like almost like how The Producers was a musical, then it became a movie, and then it became a musical of the movie. You know, it's just like
So it's kind of like going back and forth.
Yeah.
Thank God I still kept that pilot script. So
Yeah, hell yeah.
So I have that, and yeah, I would love to see it as a hybrid. I would love to see it as a movie, kind of like a movie series, and then go into like the television series. Just because just awesome, just weighing my options, just to see how TV is going to be. I just don't know because they cancel shows left and right, even if they do well, or if they buy shows and then they don't release them
and then they shelve it. Yeah, I mean, like they saw that with Batman. What was the or Batgirl? What was the new? There was a Warner Brothers movie that got completely shafted. Coyote versus Acme. That I mean, they're shooting all this shit and then shelving it now because they get the tax write-off. And it's like, wait, I thought you were in the movie business. Like I thought the business here was to make movies, not just inflate the bottom line for your investors. But
so
it's like,
I don't know. I don't know. I hope. I hope in the next 6 months. Hopefully in the next 6 months I sell it. As a TV show. So yeah.
All right. Well, hell yeah. Well, I feel like that if the book's successful, then Hollywood will come a calling. And it's funny though. Sometimes you got to leave home before you can come home. So
yeah. And I still love TV. I still love writing television. If we do write it as get it produced as a television show, it's going to open the story up a lot more than what I could do with the book, and we get to explore different things that I would love that I've already had planned in the TV series. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what home that it lands in, and whatever home it does, hopefully it's treated right. Hopefully they see it to fruition. So
absolutely.
Hopefully in the next 6 months, I set a goal in the next 6 months. So
yeah. So yeah, I guess that kind of like as we're winding it down now, I guess that kind of like leads directly into So next you got obviously book 2, and then working on hopefully getting some pitches and just putting it out there, seeing what the reaction is, and then what else, like anything else big you got planned coming up? Anything? I mean, your plate's already overflowing, man. Your cup runneth over. Overflowing. But what else you got?
That's pretty much it. I would love to. So after I complete book 2, because I still want to write books. Like now that I'm in this world, I want to write books. Especially, I want to stay in a young adult fantasy or young adult genre for a while. Because I still think it kind of lacks representation regarding young black boys. So there's books out there, obviously, but like just I want to make sure I do my part before I jump into other genres. I'm thinking about hopefully I'm gonna call my agent and be like, hey, I got this book idea for like a YA horror.
Okay.
Because I've been watching horror with my roommate all year, and like we've just been watching different types. I just finished Midnight Mass. We finished Midnight Mass last night.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I definitely want to get into like the horror genre, and like because I have like some ideas percolating. So yeah, that's in regards to books. That's hopefully next outside of Blood Through. I want to sell more books, so I'm working on a couple of proposals for a couple of YA contemporary stories and horror genre. So yeah.
Okay, so sort of like are we talking like Goosebumps level, or are we talking like
and which is crazy? We just finished Goosebumps.
All right.
Yeah, the remake of it. So kind of like that. Yeah, definitely more darker tone, but with young adult. With teen, teen characters. Yeah, I have some ideas. After I finish the first draft of book one, hopefully I can sit down and and draft the book. So yeah,
Absolutely.
that's pretty much it right now. Hopefully, Boulevard, if the LA thing works out, then that should be announced in the next maybe few months,
All right.
So yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm pulling for you. I'm pulling for you. I really want to see all this blow up. I want to see this explode for you. I really, really want to, I'm thrilled and excited. And I hope that all your dreams on this come true. So just to, because good God, I've been out here 20 years now. And while I have been, blessed with all kinds of success, it's not at all what I expected it to be. The kinds of success that I've had are not at all what I was chasing originally. And now I'm like, my life is completely different than how I thought it was going to turn out. How do you define success now? Do you think, do you feel like you are like, what is successful to you in your mind? That's a very esoteric and strange way to put that.
No, I think, I think obviously it means different things for different people. I think for success for me, I'm at a level where I'm at a better level than I was, a few years ago. But now I think success for me is, obviously we think of the pinnacle of success as like the awards, right? Like, like I gotta get an Oscar, I gotta get a Tony. I think for me, like my pinnacle would be obviously to be able to help my family financially, help them with whatever they need. And also my friends, my actor friends, because they've been with me literally through the trenches. Like when we were doing stage readings, like in people's living rooms, I see me calling my friends up and like, hey, I need you to go to Chicago. They're doing my play there. I need you to go there and be a part of the cast. Call my other friend, hey, I need you to go to Atlanta. I need you to go to New York. Like that's like I just see myself. I see that,
creating opportunities for others. The people we're giving back to the people who helped get you where you at.
And creating more avenues for if there are like young playwrights that are currently in Alabama, like and they don't know. They're like, I don't know if this is possible for me. Definitely go back there and create avenues for them and grants like that. That's just like, I don't even know if that's answering your question, but that's what I see success as, like just being able to extend and create opportunities that I felt like I had to fight through. Because we all have to fight for our dreams, right? But like, if there's some way to alleviate some pressure for an up and coming writer or a person who wants to own a theater one day, a theater company, like there's some way we can alleviate that pressure and offer our help. That's kind of like something that I'm dreaming on doing one day. I think in that, if I complete all of that and doing what I set out to do, I think that's my version of success.
Hell yeah. No, that's beautiful. I love that. And it takes a village. I mean, for as much as it takes every bit of ourselves that we pour into our work and pour into our efforts here to make shit happen, we can't get there without Twitter. We can't get there without people that are like, I'll come and do your reading for free. I got nothing else to do on a Friday night. Let's go. Come, like and being able, like, people, we need the help of others in order to create and to realize things. The amount of favors that I've called in from people to be able to get my shows up, to be able to get films made, to get deals made, but and to be able to finally give back to the people that give to us. I think that's a beautiful definition of success, man. And I hope to God that you get every bit of that success and more. I appreciate it. So final question. If you had one bit of advice to give that version of you from 10 years ago, sitting at the Taco Bell drive-thru, hating life, being depressed, if you had one thing to tell them, to help get through it, what would you want them to know?
That's a good question. This is just advice for me and my younger, because we still healing that inner child. We're still healing.
Yeah.
I think just love yourself. Like, just love yourself. Like, love what you're doing. I know that you think nobody wants to hear you. People are shutting you out, and that's okay. But love yourself through it. Like, just because they're shutting you out, just because they're not listening to you or rejecting you, that shouldn't even make you question the love that you should have for yourself. I tell myself, and that's just not even with the career path. That's just my inner child.
That's good general advice, though.
That's just a general advice from my inner child.
Because that's where it's all got to start.
That's where it got to start. And like, yeah, I think in that loving yourself, like, because I felt like I was reading and studying and researching, but in that, and also don't do things out of spite. Don't try to make your dreams come true out of spite of other people.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get lost, and you're gonna get bitter, and you're gonna get angry.
Spite is a very powerful motivator, but it is the dark side.
It's the dark side, and once it gets its clutches in you, you're gonna look at like, wait, why am I doing all of this? Why am I trying to get my play off the ground? Why am I trying to get this film off the ground? Why am I trying to create this theater company? Like, why? Like, so don't do things out of spite, and love yourself. Those are like kind of like my two biggest advice right now.
I think those are outstanding ideas. So, LaDarrion, thank you so much for taking your afternoon with me. I know you're a busy man, so I appreciate you taking the time. And what is the best way, if people want to connect with you, what is the best way to do that?
Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. When people say Facebook, how do you do the Facebook thing? But like, obviously the other social media you could do, at It's LaDarrion. ITSLADARRION, at It's LaDarrion on all platforms. Again, I don't know how to do the Facebook one because it's just my name. But yeah, that's definitely how I connect. I'm mostly active on Twitter.
Okay.
TikTok, I'm trying. I do TikToks, but I'm trying. Like, I'm trying to get better at like the editing and the I'm trying to
it's, I mean, I'm with you. I'm trying to figure out TikTok versus Reels versus Shorts and it's just like
it's a lot. It's just now it's a lot. Like, so but I'm mostly active on Twitter. People follow me there. And I'm sure to drop some news soon, hopefully.
Absolutely. All right. Well, hey, if folks, if you're watching this live, thank you so much for joining us. If you are watching this later, please do us a favor. Scan the link right here. Pre-order Blood at the Root. It is due out May 7th, 2024. I already got my copy on pre-order. I'm excited for it. I really want to see this happen. I'm up for some magical action here. And if you enjoyed this today, do me a favor. Buy me a cup of coffee. Just scan the link. Maybe kick a couple of bucks over here so we can keep talking, having coffee, and talking about something awesome. So hell yeah. So thank you all so much for tuning in today. I think in the next couple of weeks or so, you'll be seeing another one of these coming out. I'm going to be interviewing a gentleman by the name of Jim Martica, very, very talented performer, musician. He's dropped he recently remastered a single, little holiday jingle he calls Holla Glow. We'll be talking about that, maybe talking about the music video, and getting into the holiday spirit here. So thank you so much for tuning in. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and go out there, be awesome.
Thank you.
And LaDarrion, thank you, man. This has been a real pleasure.
Thank you for this. This is awesome.
All righty. Well.